I know a lot of y'all have been waiting for these edge rankings, and they're finally here. Here are my edge rankings for the 2022 NFL draft class. Again, still a little bit of season left, a huge offseason left ahead of us. A lot of this can change, but currently this is what I got. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Bro Schmo, just in case you did not know so. Go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And as always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. As you can hear the voice, it's getting a little bit better. It's getting a little bit better. We'll be streaming, well, shoot. Yeah, we'll be streaming tomorrow. Michigan, Ohio State. Big game, but a lot of prospects, a lot of edge prospects in that game. But let's go ahead and get into some of the guys that I have as returners, because there's quite a bit. Derek Hall out of Auburn, I'm a big fan of this guy's game. It just feels like this class is too stacked for him, and I really think this is a guy that could sneak into the first if he waits another year. You could say the same about Nolan Smith. I could quite frankly see him coming out, but the sample size was so small, the production was so little coming into the season, that I feel like another season of production would do him a world of wonder. Isaiah, how you say it? Foskey, out of Notre Dame. Kind of feel the same way. It's a stacked edge class, and I don't want, like, these. There's a lot of good prospects that you don't want to get lost in the shuffle here. Trayvon Walker. I'm going to be frank about Trayvon Walker, because I know a lot of y'all guys, you see him in some firsts. A lot of people really like him. He has the physical tools, the physical skill set to be a first rounder. It's just his sample size is so small. Like at Georgia, you have that rotation. They're so deep on that front seven that they're constantly rotating guys in and out, and he gets kind of lost in the shuffle. So I think another full year production that this guy could probably be a top 10 prospect. But again, we'll see as the remainder of the year goes on. O'Shane Mathis at TCU is actually a favorite of mine. I think he should come back, because at this point I feel like he's more day 3, and I really think he could be a day 2. You can see Gojo over here. You know, he's trying to look out the window. Amari Barno out of Virginia Tech, another guy that's more day 3 that probably could come out next year when the class is hopefully less loaded. Alex Wright out of UAB. This guy's a monster. This cat's insane. Like, you remember Jordan Smith coming out of UAB? This was his running mate. And I think this cat might be better. I don't think he's going to get the recognition he deserves. I don't think he's eligible for a Senior Bowl, and that's a big reason he's on this list. Kerryon White just hasn't been able to play a lot for Georgia Tech. He's the Old Dominion transfer, so he has another year of eligibility. And Justin, I'm not going to butcher your last name, out of Alabama, probably stays another year with. There's going to be some guys out of Bama that that come out that it should allow him to get more reps. So I have him as a returner. Also, I want to do a quick side note with some 2 guys that you won't see on the list, simply because I want to watch more of them. And first one out of Michigan, David Ojabo. There's not a lot of tape on him before this season. He's very new to football. Very likely he comes out. Not on the list. I need to get to watching more of him. Like, I've talked about him in some of my past videos, but he didn't make the crack here just yet, just because I haven't seen a ton of them. Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State, former Georgia transfer. Dude's a monster. I love how this guy is built physically, and I love how he's utilized at Georgia or Florida State. He's been a monster. Just want to watch a little bit more of him. He's another guy that could maybe creep into that top 10, but currently I got a 2nd round grade on him, and he just misses the cut here. So let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty, starting with 10. Zack Harrison out of Ohio State. He had a rough start to the year because this guy's raw. Straight up raw. But the length, the size, the explosiveness, he has all that to be a superstar at the edge position, but he's still kind of finding the way. He needs a little bit more polish. This guy's more of a straight line athlete. He has one of the toughest bull rushes to defend in this class, but there's no, he's a one move guy. There's no real plan to his pass rush. It's like, I'm going to go at you fast. I'm going to go at you strong. I'm fast. I'm strong. There's not a lot of nuance in that, but typically if his first move doesn't work, he doesn't really have a plan B. He doesn't have a lot of hand counters. He struggles with hand counters. He gets poor leverage at time. Like I said, this guy's kind of a diamond in the rough at this point. High upside potential that's just waiting to be achieved at this point. I got him here at 10. And then 9, Jamay Sanders out of Cincinnati. This guy has made some impressive strides. I just don't think he's taken the jump that he nearly should have this year. Now, he's got great explosiveness, good lower body strength, great length. So, like, his speed to power convert is just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. He needs to use his hands better, and his length. You got great length. Use your hands better. He needs to learn a bit more hand placement. I think a lot of that's on Cincinnati's scheme, where he's typically lining up either like over top the tackle, sometimes even inside of the tackle, rather than being truly outside. But they do use him a lot in that facet, so don't get me wrong there. I think adding some mass to his arms, while they're long, I don't think they're necessarily that strong. Right now, I would say this is my comp. Wacky, waving, inflatable arm, tube man. Wacky, wavy, inflatable arm, flailing tube man. That's a comp right there. Literally, he comes at tackles just but he's good, dude. He's good. He's had a relatively quiet season thus far this year. Really, he turned it on. Here, let me pull it up. He turned it on in the Tulane game in week 9, where he went for 4 pressures, 3 sacks. He did not have a sack up until that point. He's been getting a lot of pressures. He got 40 pressures on the season, 4 sacks. But in that SMU game, he was wreaking havoc, 5 pressures. But we just haven't seen enough. Over the course of the last 3 seasons, he has 18 sacks, 116 pressures. I don't think you need to worry about the average competition he's facing in the American Conference, because he showed he could put up against the best of the best SEC in the bowl game versus Georgia last season. He went for 4 pressures and a sack. So this guy's got a lot of potential. But in an edge class this good, I think you need a bit more than just potential, a bit more than just upside. All right. At number 8, I got Nick Bonito out of Oklahoma. He's a very interesting prospect given his size. A red flag I have for him is just his frame and his weight. I think he's filled out. He's 6'3", 240 currently. At least that's what he's listed at. It wouldn't surprise me if he comes in much smaller than that. But I just he doesn't have a frame. I think he's grown as much as he can in that frame. The positive about him is he's played significant coverage snaps, 263 coverage snaps under his belt. He's only allowed 16 receptions with 149 yards over the course of his career. Has an interception. He has 2 pass breakups. He has some of the best get off of anyone in this class. He wins with speed. He's a very finesse pass rusher. He has some of the prettiest inside counter moves you'll see in this class over the course of the last 3 seasons. 116 pressures, 18 sacks. Like, oh wow, it's real similar to Sanders over the last 3 seasons too. Now, power's never going to be this guy's game. This is why a guy with his type of production, why he is probably technically low on my list. He's my 8th pass rusher, is because I think he's scheme dependent. I think this guy, ideally, he's going to be this Y9 tech 3-4 hybrid linebacker in the NFL. So he's going to need to be in a particular scheme. So I think that's going to hurt him a bit. At number 7, I got Arnold Ebiketti out of Penn State. I absolutely love this cat. If you're familiar with the channel, you know I talked about this guy as a potential breakout candidate before the season started. He's a transfer from Temple. He had 22 pressures, 4 sacks. He had a 25% pass rush win rate, which was 6th among edge defenders last season. And he did that on or that was with only 89 pass rushing snaps. The guy was phenomenal in 2020, and he took it to another level this year. He came in a bit undersized. They got him now listed at 6'3", 256. I'll be interested to see what he actually weighs in at officially. But this guy's a monster, man. This guy is an absolute monster. Wreaks havoc. He has been one of the most impressive speed rushers. I mean, he just had an interview with Austin Gale with the Tailgate podcast. Go check that out. Very good interview. Talked about how he really focuses on 3 moves and how to kind of hide those moves and what are his counters, his plan Bs when it comes to getting out of those moves. He's really focusing on being a speed rusher, and I like that. You can get by with just a few moves as long as you can do them good, and you're not dead in the water if they don't work right off the bat. I like that. And so he came in, and he's like, all right, screw it. I'm going up in competition. He enters the Big Ten, 48 pressures on the season, 8 sacks thus far. Dude's been a monster. He's explosive off the line. He really good at using his hands to keep his chest clean. He does not let guys get in the strike zone, much like I'm letting Gojo get into like my strike zone. Not gonna let him touch my chest. Whoop-ah. Take that, Gojo. What a hand move. Oh, gosh, I love you, dude. I'm sorry. He just makes it hard for blockers to get in his pads, dude. I'm a big fan of his game. A lot of people I don't think are high enough on him. George Karlaftis coming here at number 6. Another guy I think actually will rise up my board because I've been really impressed. One of my biggest questions was his explosiveness coming in on the season. And I think he showed, like, hey, I'm explosive. I'm maybe 275. But I get off that line quick. I ain't bendy. I may not be the most flexible guy in this class, but I don't need that to win. Again, a lot of his game translates well to the NFL. His freshman season, 55 pressures, 8 sacks, and then 2020, total down year. He suffered with the Rona. He was limited by injuries, but he came back and just, wow, 48 pressure. Wait, what? That's not 48. 48 pressures, 4 sacks. He's been an utter monster. The lack of length is concerning. The lack of bend is concerning. But this guy, I think he can be a base 4-3 edge. I think he could be a 3-4 end. I think he could really thrive in any scheme. This guy is a master at using leverage to win. He is good. And quite frankly, I might move him up a little bit. I think he might crack my top 20. And then number 5, Drake Jackson, a guy I've been up and down about all this year. He moves very loosely. He's at his best when he's out in space because he's super athletic. He's got great movement skills. Ideally, he's going to be a Y9 type of guy. And this year, he's really showed more consistency, and that's what I want to see. Because the prior 2 seasons, 43 pressures, 7 sacks on over 500 pass rushing snaps. This season, on 173 pass rushing snaps, he has 25 pressures and 6 sacks. He hasn't been necessarily that healthy this year. Just in the UCLA game, he was limited to 4 snaps, but he's really answered some of the big questions about him. Consistency and motor. Thus far, it's looked pretty good for him. He has that elite combination of length and explosiveness. He's very good at turning speed to power. The thing is, there's just more productive guys, more proven guys. So I think he's got a first-round skill set. I just think some guys might end up passing him up. So don't be surprised if he drops from 5 on my list. And this was a guy I was really high going into the season because his high end, tape is just wow. And then number 4, Kingsley Ngata. Y'all, if you're familiar with the channel, if you've been around for a while, you know I absolutely love this guy. I've been high on this guy since the offseason. Quite frankly, I think I'm going to move him ahead of my number 3 when it's all said and done. The thing is, he might not be the most athletic edge because there's a lot of freaks in this class, but his physical tools are really hard to ignore. This guy is kind of a bull in a china shop. But now he's playing a lot more controlled this year. He's having one of the best seasons no one's talking about. It's killing me, dude. It's right up on par with like a George Karlaftis, right below Aiden Hutchinson. And the dude's doing it in the SEC. He's doing it among the best of the best. I'm a big fan. There's no chill in this guy's game. His motor runs hot. He has a big tank. This dude is great. His movements are very sudden. His hands are extremely violent. I just love that about him. 43 pressures, 4 sacks on the season. Yeah, he's top 10 for me. And then Marvin Leo coming in here at number 3. He's kind of the total package. Elite power, athleticism, and explosiveness. He's very twitchy for being 290. I list him here with the edges because that's just where he's played majority of the time at Texas A&M. He's played over 1,000 snaps over his career on the outside compared to he's just under 500 on the interior. A good chance he's probably an interior player with the capability of kicking outside on third downs. It's just this season hasn't been nearly as dominant as he has been past. 31 pressures, 7 sacks. Still impressive. Nothing to scoff at. But dude's movement skills are easy to fall in love with at 290. And I just love how this guy uses his hands. Dude's got magic hands, man. He uses them very effectively. His impact on contact, it's got a lot of pop. I would say it's among the top in this class. No linemen's getting in this guy's pads. He keeps his strike zone very clean. There are times where he gets hung up on blocks because I would say he doesn't really have much of a plan B when it comes to his pass rushing approach. And he probably needs to work on them hand counters. I have seen this circulate that he might be a candidate to return. I just can't see that happening. Like, this guy's top 15 easy. I list him here at top 10, but I think he's top 15 easy. All right, Aiden Hutchinson here at 2. You knew it was coming. Dude's really good. Him returning to Michigan in 2021 after breaking his leg in 2020 has skyrocketed his value. That decision made him a lot of money. He shedded some weight because I think he shedded about 10 to 15 pounds. And you really noticed it. When I first saw Bruce Feldman, when I saw Hutchinson on his freaks list, and when he threw out, like, this dude was clocked in with a 6.543 cone, which would have been better than anyone at the 2020 Combine. His 36 vert, 4.6, 440, shoulder time of 4.07. Like, those are very impressive numbers. Those are numbers that I wouldn't have expected him getting in 2020. And I'm not going to lie, I wasn't high on this guy coming to the season. I was like, this is the guy whose his game translates exceptionally well. He's going to be a very good NFL player. It's just one not highly sought after. That's completely changed. The narrative's changed. He has 53 pressures on the season, 10 sacks. He's been an utter monster. He's exceptionally strong. The hands, like, his grip strength is so impressive. He controls every interaction at the line of scrimmage. He's way more than just an edge setter, which initially what I kind of chalked him up as. This guy really, he walks blockers back into the laps of the quarterback. Just take a look at what he did to Jackson Kirkland, who is a solid tackle prospect in this class. Hutchinson, one of the best push-pull moves you'll ever see. I like this cat a lot. Probably top 5. He made so much money returning. Kaivon Thibodeau, number 1. Of course he is. Former 5-star recruit. He was the number 2 overall recruit in the 2019 class. KT, he has all the ideal physical tools. He has scary get off. He has great body control. He plays with very good leverage, a very natural bend. This man never comes off the field either. He is kind of the Iron Man. His tank never runs empty. He has been a little beat up this year, at least to start the year after that Fresno game. But he is, since week 5, he's played at least 35 or more snaps. And if you take the Colorado game out of it, he's played 52 or more snaps. So I don't know. People are like, injuries might be a concern. No. Get that nonsense out of here. Now, Oregon, in the past, they played him kind of like inside the tackle, at like kind of like the 4 inside tech. He's playing way more 5 tech this year, 5 tech or wider, which is great. He had a big game in 2020 against Elijah Vera Tucker, where he had 12 pressures. He has 37 pressures and 8 sacks thus far this season. He's doing a much better job with how he approaches his pass rush. As a run defender, he does get stuck sometimes on blocks and becomes a non-factor. But again, I'm kind of nitpicking at this point. He's the number 1 overall prospect on my board. He's going to be that guy for a lot of people. I mean, just look at go look what they did, like UCLA game, right? They made it so Sean Ryan didn't have to go one-on-one with him, and Sean Ryan actually had a good game against him in 2020 where he only allowed 1 pressure on 25 pass rushing snaps. This year, totally decided to ignore him. They tried to match poor Greg Dulcich, the tight end, on him, and it went horrible. Utah probably had the best game plan against him. They only allowed 3 pressures from Thibodeau, but he was doubled a lot. A lot of times they used read option and went away from him. They used a lot of counter plays just to keep away from him. They really executed a very good game plan to try to neutralize the threat Kaivon Thibodeau was. Big reason why they won that game. But yeah, he's great. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.